We have the RD2 starter set here available. It comes with 4 sizes: a 7-inch square, 7x10 oval, an 8-inch round, and a 7x10 rectangle. And these would be wonderful. These will be wonderful sizes for doing all kinds of small little trays or fancy serving pieces. Take a mud tools rib and compress the clay in 2 directions. Underglaze transfer and put it ink side against the wet clay surface. Use a roller to roll out. Try to remove the wrinkles first, or the air pockets. And use your roller to transfer this imagery onto your slab. Now take this side and put underglaze transfer, and I like to leave the transfer right on there. Other people will remove it at this stage. I like to leave it on there. It prevents the transfer from moving or transferring onto the form. Once now we have the clay draped onto the form, we now want to take the clay and gently, this is first of the 3 steps, to gently kind of remove the air pockets and gently push the clay towards the form. The second step is to take a little more medium pressure and go along the edge here and try to form the clay to the form. So it starts to take shape of the form beneath. It will start to take the shape of the form beneath. We're just having enough medium pressure to kind of push the clay against the form, but not enough to make deep marks with our fingers or to squish the clay out even flatter. But the point of this is to keep the clay as even as possible through the stage. The third step is to take a rib and remove all these canvas marks, which is a great thing to help you realize that you've compressed all surfaces of the clay around the entire form. This will help to compact the clay particles in an even manner to get a nice even drying and prevent warping from the uneven clay. So this is a really nice step to make sure you use a rib and make sure that we have this even pressure throughout. The rib helps to give that even pressure. Final step is to take your finger and go along that edge to kind of make sure that we've developed a nice even space between the clay and the form. Now what we're going to do is take our suit tool, and we know that the edge is 2 inches. We're going to lock in the suit tool to 2 inches, and what we can do is we can follow along the edge where our finger was there to give us a rough idea of where we should add the foot. We can take our foot maker, maybe now the side view here, and we can make some strips of clay to add onto the bottom. Remove any excess clay. We can also take a little trimming here. We got that underglaze transfer underneath, so it's going to be a little funnier with the cutting, but I'm just going to cut a rough edge so that I can now remove the extra clay. And it should have let's get that right. Yeah, I think it's going to all be skipped. Maybe a part of it. Maybe this part. Take our knife, side view here, trim that off. Also going to trim this here so that'll lay right on in place here. Nice smooth transition. Like this part can get cut up. It's just a lot shorter of a clip. Gently press down the edges without kind of altering the clay too much. We want to try to maintain that thinness and don't worry about whether it's, you know, the right height or not. What we can do is kind of remove this clay, this transfer a little bit. All right, now we're going to take our knife and we're going to try to cut this as close to the angle as possible. So we're going to put the knife on a slight angle and do our cutting here. Now we can put this on here to kind of spin it around and kind of clean up that edge as much as possible. This will help to prevent less cleanup by using a sponge. And in this case, because we kind of have the edge already determined by the form, this is a good spot to use a sponge. I would wait on this part until it is leather hard. Set aside your piece. It helps to have it on a board that you can transfer it to move as it dries, but let's sit in an undrafty area for 4 to 6 hours until the piece becomes leather hard where we can lift it off. Okay, these have sat for 24 hours. They've been under plastic for about 12 and uncovered for about 8. And so you see how they're nice and sturdy, a really nice leather hard condition. Ooh, oh, they still have the paper on them. Ooh-wee. I removed it from this one already, but now we can, ooh yeah, look at that. Lovely color of blue and yellow on these. So using underglaze transfers is a real fun, simple way of putting a lot of color on there without a lot of measuring skill. However, this fun little bird one here. You know, the bird one, you could really add some other colors on there first and then put the transfer on there, but it creates these lovely colors. All right, so now I'm just going to show you how I finish up them. I'll finish them all up the same. And if you have to, maybe first stage is take your rasp. Typically, you probably wouldn't with these, but I noticed even in the video that there's a couple spots that could use a little bit of cleanup. Like right here, you can kind of see the little rough, and just kind of smooth them out. And the rasp is the best way to accomplish this without kind of digging into the clay. Good. And now what I want to do is take it's sometimes good to hold it, depending, or to just put it on here. And then I can take this and I can rub it across, drag it across here to get that nice smooth edge. You can see all the crumbs have fallen off here. What's really nice is you can go ahead and clean this edge off. You can see it makes this nice line of transition between the clay body and the underglaze transfer. So that you may have to consider, depending on the color of the underglaze and the color of the clay, on whether you want that line to be really heavily defined like I'm doing it right now. I like to have a nice transition between the piece below, but maybe it would clash, so maybe you would want to let that go over to the edge and keep that edge kind of clean. One thing too, I've noticed I can push this down if necessary. Now if I need to clean up this foot, and use this tool to clean it up. This is the round flat tool. We have a bigger version and a smaller version. Then I come back and kind of squish the clay, burnish it back together here, polish it sort of. So I would just, once I clean up these edges, I would take and I would dry this upside down. That way all this edges will stay nice and even as it dries. The weight of the foot will keep everything in place, so I don't need to use any weight bags or do any other propping. So now I'll do the same procedure for all 4 of these pieces, and this set gives us a nice variety of things to try to see if you like this kind of smooth edge kind of surface. It allows, you know, the design to kind of continue from the outside of the plate to the inside. Kind of this big large surface.